could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper. We'll get to the Sleeper app here in a second and the special promotion we've got going on in December. But before we do that, let's talk about this game. Commanders at Vikings, two really bad football teams squaring off in early December. Commanders riding a 7-game losing streak coming into the game at 3-9. Meanwhile, the Vikings coming in to the game on a 4-game skid at 4-8. These two teams have struggled mightily to have any consistency at the quarterback position. The Commanders have been, having their star quarterback, Jaden Daniels, in and out of the lineup this season. Marcus Mariota has done an admirable job filling in for him, but there's nothing like the real thing, baby, right? Same could be said for Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy, he was coming off of an injury from last season that saw him miss the entire year. It started out week 1 with a great comeback versus the Chicago Bears, but his season has been marred by inconsistency and more injuries. He himself has been in and out of the lineup. The Vikings have started 3 different quarterbacks this season, including Max Brosmer, the rookie out of Minnesota, a week ago. He struggled mightily on the road versus Seattle in a shutout loss. J.J. McCarthy, who was out of the game last week with a concussion, back this week versus Washington. He has had turnover issues all season long, hence the reason the Vikings have been so miserable from a win-loss record standpoint this season, coupled with the fact that they have not been able to sustain the level of success that they've seen offensively under offensive coordinator or head coach, rather, Kevin O'Connell. When you look at the Vikings, just to talk about them quickly, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Commanders here, if they can take care of the football, they will have a shot to win this game. The Vikings are dead last in the NFL in the turnover differential. They are minus 15. That has been their biggest Achilles heel this season. And J.J. McCarthy is at the forefront of that. He's had multiple turnovers in just about every single one of his starts this season. So if he can somehow manage to take care of the football, Justin Jefferson just said the other day that this is one of the most frustrating seasons of his young NFL career to this point, because they simply have not been able to get him the ball consistently. And it starts with McCarthy. When he's had time in the pocket, he's been, erratic and inaccurate. He's not seeing the field well. He's holding on to the ball too long. He's taking sacks. So if they can get into some sort of rhythm, and maybe running the football might help that a bit, but ultimately taking care of the football will give them a chance. We know their defense is one of the better units in football under Brian Flores, and they will have a shot to win this game if they can take care of the football. If they don't, and the Commanders are able to take care of the football, it will be a long day for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, you get to the Commanders side of things, and it's been a struggle for the Commanders from a health standpoint this season. They have gone through just a gauntlet of injuries. They've been through multiple quarterbacks this season. It seems like that's the formula for them every year, right? They always seem to cycle through multiple starting quarterbacks. Last year was the first time in ages that they hadn't had multiple starting quarterbacks in the same season. But obviously they got back to what they are accustomed to this year with Marcus Mariota and Jaden Daniels going back and forth in the starting lineup. They've had a myriad of injuries at the receiver position, the offensive line, not necessarily a ton of injuries as much as Sam Cosmi waiting for his arrival back into the lineup. You've had a lot of injuries. You got, a big injury to running back Austin Eckler at the running back position. You've had injuries all up and down the defensive line, injuries in the secondary galore. And so for the first time in what seems like an eternity, the Commanders will be relatively healthy on the offensive side of the football. They're getting Jaden Daniels back in this game. It looks like they're going to get wide receiver Noah Brown back in this game. They had Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin back on the field together for the first time since week 3. And so this is very positive. It'll be the first time that their top 3 receivers and starting quarterback all are on the field together for the first time since week 2 of this season. And they're feeling really good about what they've done defensively with Dan Quinn taking over the play calling. And so if they can continue to build momentum on the defensive side, they produced a turnover last week, which is something this defense just doesn't do very often. They were able to get some critical stops in that game against Denver to give themselves a chance. And offensively, they actually had one of their best days of the season last week against one of the best defenses in all of the National Football League. So when you couple all of those things together and you look at what the Commanders are currently doing, you have to be very excited about what you've seen from them, and you're hoping that this can turn into an opportunity for them to snap a 7-game losing streak and get back in the left-hand column. If they can't do it this week, you'll probably have one more golden opportunity next week on the road against the Giants, and then it gets a little bit dark for you the remainder of the season against, all NFC East opponents. This is a great opportunity if you're the Commanders to go on the road, exercise some demons. You haven't won in Minnesota since 2007. Here's an opportunity for you to show that while this is a lost season and while you haven't had the success that you were looking to have this season, as Dan Quinn eloquently said on Hard Knocks to his team after the loss last Sunday night in the post-game locker room, we lost the game, but we aren't lost anymore. This is an opportunity for you we lost the season, but we aren't lost anymore. This is a chance for you to win a game, snap the losing streak, get back on the winning side of things, and see if you can't get hot down the stretch of this season and maybe build a little bit of momentum for next year. Or even if we're short term, build some momentum for those final 4 games of the season against NFC East opponents. This is a good start to that. Got to take advantage of the Commanders. And I think the biggest thing is you have to protect the football. This is going to be an interesting matchup of Cliff Kingsbury and his offense versus Brian Flores and his defense. Jaden Daniels going to see a lot of looks that he hasn't seen before. And because he hasn't played a lot this season, I expect him to be confused at times. I expect him to hold on to the ball a little bit longer than maybe he should. It is Cliff's job to make sure that he puts Jaden in advantageous situations. Getting it out of his hands, running the football will really go a long way in helping this offense stay on track, stay ahead of the sticks, and do the thing that they did last week for the first time in a very long time, and that's convert on third downs, sustain offense, win time of possession. These are all things that lead to victories for this team when they're right. Well, here's an opportunity for you to do that. It's not going to be easy because Brian Flores, as I've talked about already, one of the better defensive coordinators in all of football. And this Vikings defense, despite the record, despite them getting shut out last week, played a whale of a ball game last week against a very good Seattle Seahawks offense, and has been really consistently solid all year long, have the Vikings, even with some injuries on that side of the football for them as well. So it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but if the Commanders can take care of the football, establish the run, they're the number 3 rush offense in football, and convert on third downs, win time of possession, but most importantly, score points. This is a Vikings team that struggles to score. They're averaging less than 18 points a game. You score points in this game, you take care of the football, you limit the mistakes, you got a real shot at winning this football game if you are the Washington Commanders. So I think the Commanders are going to win this game. I've said this already. I think this is going to be a 27-23 victory for the Commanders. I think they've got a legitimate shot at snapping their 7-game losing streak. I'll be disappointed if they don't snap the losing streak here, but I won't be like upset or anything of the sort because I know this is not a good football team. And I understand where they are in this season and in their process. And so to think just because Minnesota is struggling that we should beat them is craziness, right? They're struggling, but so are we. Like, our losing streak is longer than theirs. The only difference is that we're getting our star quarterback back. And while we have lost the last 2 games, they've both been drastic improvements to what the product was prior to those 2 games. So while Minnesota, who has lost 4 straight, hasn't looked good, and you could actually make the argument that they're declining in their performance on the field. It's getting worse every week. The Commanders are, arrow is pointing upwards despite the losses, but that doesn't mean anything on Sunday. If the Commanders come out and they turn the ball over, they allow that Vikings crowd to get rowdy, it could get dark for the Commanders very quickly, but I've got them winning this game. We'll see if they can get it done or not. So with that said, let's now turn our attention to the skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right, so we are having a special promotion in the month of December. First and foremost, if you're not a member of the Sleeper family, what are you waiting on? Here's your opportunity to do it. Over 10 million active users on the Sleeper app. You can become one of them and become a member of the family by simply clicking the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to where you can download the app. Make sure that Sleeper is available in your area. It's available in over 30 states in the US. And once you verify that you are who you say you are, they're going to give you $20 free to use on the app. No strings attached. You don't have to deposit anything. All you have to do is become a member of the Sleeper family. 20 free bucks. But it doesn't stop there. Use my promo code LTN to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right, dollar for dollar match. So if it were up to me, or I just always tell people, you only get to do this once. Max it out, right? Use the entire $100. Let them match that $100 deposit. That'll give you $200 plus the $20 they gave you for becoming a member of the Sleeper family. That's $220. And that can take you a long way. Let's get active, though. In the month of December, we're doing a special promotion here that I want you guys to help me with. And so here's how this is going to work. We're going to put a ticket together for this Commanders Vikings game. All right, we're going to make about 4 picks, roughly 3 or 4 picks that we really, truly love, that we see happening in this game. We're going to try and nail this thing. Look, your man is hurting over here. I haven't had a win in the NFL space since week 1. We're talking September, folks. We are now in December. I need your help, okay? Help me put together a winning ticket. And then what I want you to do is I want you to trail this ticket on Sleeper, right? Meaning you put the same exact picks in. I'm going to give you all the instructions you need to give yourself a chance to win $100 on the Sleeper app, okay? So let's put this ticket together first. That's what's important because we got to win. Let's get a winner, all right? So we're going to click on the NFL here, as you can see. And see, let me make sure. Uh-oh, it's not picking up. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing that. And we are going to get rid of this. And we're going to try this all over again. See if we can get this to pick up so you guys can see what I'm doing on the screen as it's happening. Let's see. All right. So let's reconnect it. See if that does something for us. All right. All right. I think we're back in the game now. Let's try and reconnect. Let's see. All right. All right, there we go. We're back. All right, so now we're going to click on NFL. And we're going to go to the Commanders Vikings tilt right here. And we're going to pull up the picks. All right. So, what is the first thing you guys see happening in this game? Let's go to Chris Rodriguez rush yards. He's at 38.5. I love this, Chris Rodriguez. What says you guys? Do you see Chris Rodriguez? Okay, it just froze up on me again. I don't know what's going on with this thing and why it continues to do that. All right, it did it again. It froze up again. Yeah. So we're going to get rid of it. All right. So Chris Rodriguez, let me click on this here and I can try to talk y'all through this while I'm trying to get it back up on the screen. Oh, okay. All right. So the sleeper app crashed on me. That was the culprit. Let's see if we can get it back up. All right. So let's see if we can get this thing back active. So Shadow Striker 789 says J Mac's going to be out there a lot. He says, I know Justin Jefferson going to torch our sorry corners. LOL. I mean, I'm a little hesitant to go Justin Jefferson or anything. Like, we got to pick something on the Viking side. We can't just pick all three, all Commanders items. We got to do something on the Viking side. But I'm struggling with what I want to do over there. Like, for instance, I want to take JJ McCarthy yards. I want to do something with his yards, right? Like, do you want to take the over? Do you want to take the under? We got to see where those yards are. He struggled from a passing yards perspective this season. I want to go like interception for JJ McCarthy. He's thrown one in every single one of his NFL starts to this point. But then you know who we are. So do you do that? Right? Do you take interception for JJ McCarthy, thinking he's going to do it, but knowing that that's not what we do necessarily? So I do think that's a bit of a dicey proposition. So there's a number of things that I would like to do, but I'm very nervous. This is why you guys need to help, because you guys are the voice of reason here. Okay, so you guys are gonna help me figure out what's going on. So, all right, let's see if we can get this thing working again now. All right, so we're gonna click on NFL. Let's try this again. Hopefully, we get this thing to work this time. So, we're gonna go to the Commanders Vikings game, and the first thing that I see that makes a ton of sense to me is Chris Rodriguez rush yards. I know we're gonna see a lot of J Mac, but they're going to run the football. J Mac's going to be in there for pass protection purposes. They're still going to run the football. Let's take a look at Chris Rodriguez and what he's done over the last, let's just say, month or so. All right, so he's in the last month he had a 65-yard rush game against Detroit. There's the sleeper app tripping again, and it just the app literally just froze on me again. I was thinking it was my software here, but it's the app that continues to do this. So let's see. All right. And I think it's going to keep doing this every time I do it. It keeps refreshing. All right, forget about it. Let's just go here instead. Let's take this off, and we'll just do this the old-fashioned way. So I'm staring at Chris Rodriguez. 38 yards. I'm gonna give you Chris Rodriguez statistics over the last month. And you guys tell me what you think. So Chris Rodriguez over the last month against Seattle, he had 65 yards rushing. Matter of fact, I give you the carries and the yards. So against Seattle, he had 12 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. Against Detroit, he had 6 carries for 16 yards. Remember, that's the game he got injured in. He left that game prematurely. So he had 6 carries, and they were still trying to figure out if Bill was going to be the lead back or not. And so they had just gotten frustrated with Bill because he was so hesitant against Seattle's rush defense. And so they were giving C-Rod the start against Detroit, but he had the shoulder injury in that game. So he had 16 yards on 6 carries for a touchdown. Miami, he bounced back 15 carries, a season high, 79 yards in that game. And then last week against Denver, 11 carries, 41 yards. Even if he doesn't get a ton of touches, I can't see it being any worse than the Denver game, 11 carries, 41 yards, right? So going back to C-Rod for a second, they've got his number at 38.5. I just find it hard. And this Vikings rush defense is not a great run defense. They're very small up front. So I really feel like we should be able to establish the run in this game. It just feels like something we should be able to do. I really feel like C-Rod for 39 yards is a winner chicken dinner. But that's just me. So I literally just yeah, I think it's gonna do it again. I want to try and get the I do want to try and get it back up on the screen so you guys can see it. I literally just fired it up, and as soon as I fired it up, the Sleeper app restarted itself. So it may do it again. If it does it again, we're just gonna go without it. So let's try this again. All right. So we were at C-Rod, 38.5 yards. See, it just restarted again. Okay, we're not gonna do this. I'm not playing this game with the Sleeper app. I'm not gonna keep doing this. So we'll just go here with it. Go here with it. Get this off the screen. All right. So I think personally, C-Rod, 39 yards is a winner. What says you guys? Leave it down in the comment section. Do you think C-Rod is going to achieve 39 yards rushing in this game against the Minnesota Vikings? I think 39 yards is achievable for Chris Rodriguez. And I think he's going to get 12 to 14 carries in this game. If you're telling me we can't get C-Rod 40 yards basically on 12 carries, then what are we doing? That's hard for me to stomach. He's been running the ball very effectively here lately, and you got all your weapons now, so they can't just load the box up. This isn't like before where there was no Terry, there was no Noah Brown, and you could be aggressive stopping the run. They can't do that. I see a lot of yeses. Yeah. I think we should add Chris Rodriguez to the ticket. And so we'll take C-Rod rush yards to start us off. All right. So now let's start looking at some other things. You got pass yards. Jaden Daniels at 212 and a half. I don't think that's a good move for us, especially in his first game back. We don't really know what to expect. JJ McCarthy, on the other hand, 186 and a half pass yards. If you dive into that, JJ McCarthy has only eclipsed 86, so 87 yards passing one game this season. And you know what's the coincidence there, right? Is the one game that I played JJ McCarthy pass yards and I took the under was that Ravens game, and he threw for 248. That's the highest he's had in his career to this point. And it's the only game this season that he's had a passing game of over 158 yards. Prior to that Ravens game, and since, he hasn't had a game in which he's thrown for more than 158 yards. So literally, he is guaranteed basically to throw for less than, if you go off of his first 6 NFL starts, because he's only got 6 NFL career starts to his name. 5 of those 6, he hasn't eclipsed 160 yards, let alone 187. However, you know what we are defensively, and so you can't look at our defense and expect it to do what Chicago's defense did, Atlanta's defense, Detroit, or Green Bay's defense did. Baltimore gave up 248. So I don't want to touch that, right? Because with our luck, JJ McCarthy will hit Jettas on a slant or a post or a dig route, and he'll go for, 62 yards, and it'll boost up JJ McCarthy's pass yards, and he'll end up throwing for 217 yards in this game. So gonna leave that one alone, but I feel confident he's not going to throw for 187 yards. JJ McCarthy stinks, but it's no reason to tempt. It's no reason to tempt it, right? There's no reason to do that. Rush yards. We've already gone Rodriguez. They've got Jordan Mason here for 33 yards, basically 32 and a half. He has eclipsed 33 yards in just about every game this season. Stands for 2. Each of the last 3 games, he's eclipsed 33 yards rushing, which is the number at 32 and a half. He's got a 45-yard game against the Bears 3 weeks ago, a 42-yard game 2 weeks ago, and last week against Seattle, 47 yards. So he not only is he eclipsing 33 yards, he's not even close. He's beating it by over 10 yards per game. But then again, Washington's rush defense isn't terrible. I feel like he should be able to run for 33 yards against us, but let's keep going. Let's see if we can find something better. They've got Jaden Daniels rush yards at 39 and a half. I really want to take the under on that. I don't think Jaden's going to run a ton, but all it takes is one Jaden Daniels run. They blitz. He finds a seam. It's man coverage. Their backs are turned. He takes off, and it's a 47-yard gain, right? It's a 33-yard gain. Like, it won't take much. Flores gets over-aggressive. Jaden escapes somehow, and he's off to the races. So I don't think that's a smart move either. So, I like to live in the receiver realm, catches, yards, that sort of thing. They've got Terry McLaurin for 52 and a half yards receiving. Justin Jefferson, 64 and a half yards receiving. Justin Jefferson, just, for context, he has not eclipsed 65 yards receiving in 5 games. Don't think that's a smart idea to put him on the ticket, even though I think most of us feel like Jettas is going to have himself a day against this defense. Zach Ertz, 39 and a half yards receiving. Ertz has eclipsed 39 and a half yards, so 40 yards in each of his last 4 games. We know Jaden loves throwing Ertz the football. That one feels like one that should happen. But again, with Noah Brown entering the lineup, Jaden back for the first time, Terry back in the lineup, even though Terry had a positive effect on Ertz last week, it's really hard to really diagnose that. Hawkinson, 27.5 receiving yards. Addison, 39.5 yards receiving. Debo, 38.5. I don't love any of those. Traylon Burks, 10.5 yards rushing. I've seen that one before. So Burks at 11 yards. Boy, that feels very that feels like something that would get done in this game. But again, you just with all the weapons that they're going to have back at their disposal, I don't want to be relying on Traylon Burks to get you 11 yards receiving, if you know what I mean. So Ertz receiving yards feels like a good one. What says you guys? Do you want to take Ertz on the over on the receiving yards? 39.5 is the number. Ertz has had over 39.5 yards, so over 40 yards each of the last 4 games. Can he make it a 5th? Yes or no? Put it down in the comment section. And then let's look at receptions. I think I want to go to receptions. See how you guys feel about receptions. DT says he would take Mason and Ertz on the overs. Yes for Ertz on the over. Okay, so that's 2. If we get one more yes for Ertz on the over, I think we're going to put him on the ticket. I just feel like that's going to happen. Somebody said that Traylon is going to get 11 yards on his first catch. You're assuming that he gets any catches in this game. You're assuming that he gets any catches. With all of the weapons, he's now pushed down to the 4th receiver. He might not be on the field a ton in this game. I'm assuming Noah Brown will be on, I don't want to say a pitch count, but they're not going to overwork him. But let's not act like Traylon Burks is out here getting 7 targets a game, you know. So Ertz, yes. I see 2 more yeses for Ertz. So, okay, we're going to throw Ertz receiving yards onto the ticket. All right. I feel good about that one too. I do. All right, let's go to receptions. Ertz, 3.5 receptions for Ertz. Ertz has had no less than 4 catches in each of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, including 10 last game. But that was without Jaden, so you have to keep that in mind. But he's had at least 4 catches in each of the last 5 games. And if you go back to the Chicago game, he had 6 catches in that game, 3 against Dallas. That's the last time he did not have at least 4 catches in a game. So Ertz for 3.5 feels really good. TJ Hawkinson, 2.5 catches. They got, man, that he's had at least 3 catches each of the last 3 weeks. I don't see how TJ Hawkinson doesn't have 3 catches, guys. Now, he's got a bevy of games where he's had 2. But if you go before those 3 games, the first 4 games of the season, 5, 4, 6, 6. Then he had 3-week stretch of straight two reception games versus the Chargers, Lions, and Ravens. And then the last 3 weeks, Chicago, 3 catches. 2 weeks ago against Green Bay, 4 catches. And last week against the Seahawks, 6 catches. Hawkinson is going to catch the football 3 times in this game. He's got to. They'll have a favorable matchup with Bobby Wagner, more likely than not. Remember, he's coming off of a knee injury all week. What says you? 3 catches for TJ Hawkinson in this game or not? Leave it down in the comment section. Yay or nay on TJ Hawkinson for 3 catches? They've got McLaurin for 4.5. I don't love that. Justin Jefferson, 5.5. Don't love that. Debo, 4.5. Don't love that. Even though that with the assortment and bevy of wide receiver screens and underneath passes that Debo catches, you might even get him on a jet sweep from the gun where it's like a little touch pass. Debo, gets so many of those little easy receptions underneath. You could see him getting a 5. He's actually had more than 5 catches each of the last 2 weeks and 3 out of the last 4. Hawkinson, three catches for DJ Hawkinson. I got a no so far. Someone says Ertz on the over is a safer bet. So that's another no, basically. Remember, we still have to pick a Vikings pick. We have to make a pick for the Vikings as well. So whatever is the safest for Minnesota, we have to do. Hawkinson, 3 catches, feels the safest. Let's keep going. Let's see. I mean, JJ McCarthy, interception. I said, so McCarthy, this is his entire spreadsheet for the year. He had 1 interception in his first career start in week 1 against Chicago. The following week, he had 2. Then he had 1 against Detroit. Their last win this season. They are in a 4-game losing streak. He had 1 interception in that game. He had 2 in the game against Baltimore. He had 2 against Chicago in the second time he saw the Bears. And he had 2 against Green Bay, his last start where he sustained a concussion. So he's turned it over every single game he's started in the NFL. And most games, it's 2, not 1. 4 out of the 6 starts he has so far, he's thrown 2 interceptions. And he's thrown at least 1 in every single one of his 6 career NFL starts. So he should, theoretically speaking, throw an interception. But again, against our defense, I don't think that's something we should be really confident in him doing. All right. Here's probably a safer bet. I feel really good about this one. Will Reichert, the Vikings kicker, 2 field goal attempts, or 2 field goal makes, 2 field goal makes for Will Reichert. Now, he hasn't had 2 field goal makes in a week. So last week, he didn't have any field goal makes. They got shut out in that game, remember. But before that, he had 2 in the Green Bay game, 1 in the Chicago game before that, 2 in the Baltimore game, 2 in the Detroit game, 1 in the Chargers game, and 5 in the Eagles game. So they rely on their field goal kicker a lot. Heavenly Cutter says Jaden will throw the ball 40 times. Jaden hasn't had a game in his career where he's thrown the ball 40 times other than the NFC Championship game. So I highly doubt that all of a sudden, randomly in week 14, he's going to throw the football 40 times. That's not happening in this game. I can assure you of that. I'd bet money on that. He's not going to throw the football. As a matter of fact, just because I'm interested now, where do they have Jaden's attempts set at? My guess is that number is going to be somewhere around the 32 mark. Let's see. Pass attempts. Jaden's is set at 29.5. Okay. 29.5. He had 42. That's the one he had this season. 42 against Green Bay in a game that we were trailing for the entirety of, and we had to throw in the second half. Cliff lost his mind in that game, though, to be honest with you, because he shouldn't have had 42 pass attempts in a game that we weren't ever down by, 2 touchdowns. For the vast majority of that game, we were right there. We were down 17-3, but then we scored a touchdown and cut it to a 1-score lead going into the fourth quarter. He should have never thrown it 42 times in that game. That was on Cliff. But you got 22, 22, 26, 26, 42, 30 are his past numbers for this season. Jaden's only started in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games this season. So He's not throwing it 40 times in this game. What do you guys think about Will Reichert making 2 field goals in this game for the Vikings? I think you're going to see some field goals kicked in this game. I do. So what do you guys think about? We got to choose a Vikings pick. So you got TJ Hawkinson, 3 catches. You've got Will Reichert, 2 field goals made. You've got JJ McCarthy to throw an interception, and you've got JJ McCarthy, the over or the under on his pass yards, 186.5. What do you think? Which one of those makes the most sense? Which one of those makes the most sense? Will Reichert, 2 field goals. TJ Hawkinson, 3 catches. JJ McCarthy to throw 1 interception. Or JJ McCarthy to either go over or have more than 186 yards and a half passes, so 187 yards, or less than 187 yards passing. Leave it in the comment section. Those are our best Viking options. Field goal kicker, Hawkinson. We're all over the place on this one. Field goal kicker, field goal kicker. So we got field goal kicker is up right now. I think Will Reichert is going to make 2 field goals. I also think TJ Hawkinson is going to catch 3 passes. So, I mean, it's really up to you guys how we going to swing this thing. Because I really do believe that TJ Hawkinson is going to catch the football 3 times in this game. And I think Will Reichert's going to make 2 field goals. And let's see. If I go back to Hawkinson's catches, I can see both of them happening. Absolutely. I told you both of those feel like things that are going to transpire in the game. Kickers are always so, there's a frailty that exists with kickers because he could just miss, right? He could get 3 attempts in the game and miss 2 of them. So he's a really good kicker, though, but anything could happen. One could get blocked. He could miss one. He could only get 1 attempt the entire game, whereas Hawkinson is definitely going to get the ball thrown to him. If we go back to TJ Hawkinson for a second, and let's see. Hawkinson, see how many targets he's had here. So last week he had 6 targets. The week before, 4 targets. The week before that, 6 targets. The week before that, 2. The week before that, 3, then 9, 6. So he's getting targets. He's getting targets. He's getting targets. So I need you guys to make a decision. I need y'all to make the decision. This isn't for me. This is for all of us. You guys make the decision. Which are we going with? Hawkinson, 2.5 catches, so 3 catches, 2 field goals for Will Reichert, JJ McCarthy to throw an interception, or JJ McCarthy to be more or less than 187 yards passing in the game. Okay, so you guys want to go with the field goals? Let's do that. So we'll put that on the ticket. And Now we need one more. Let's go one more Commanders add to this ticket. Do you guys have a feeling about anybody scoring a touchdown in this game? I don't necessarily have a good feeling about touchdowns scored in this game. They're going to score some touchdowns. Both teams will. I just don't know who's going to be the guy to do it. Could it be Aaron Jones for the Vikings? Could it be Jordan Mason for the Vikings? Could it be Chris Rodriguez for the Commanders? I'm going to stay away from, like, for me personally, I don't have a good feel of who's going to score a touchdown. Let's see if we go back to see, we go to receiving yards. Passing touchdowns. We haven't touched this one yet. Do you see Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy eclipsing 2 passing touchdowns in this game? 2 passing touchdowns for either of the quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, in his 6 starts, has only eclipsed 2 passing touchdowns twice this season. Week 2 against Green Bay and week 6 against Chicago, where he had his season high 3. Outside of that, he hasn't had a ton of success throwing the football into the end zone. This could be a game where it happens, or it could not. I think that's a bit risky. Don't think that's something that we need to explore. Yeah, you'd be better off going with less for both quarterbacks, to be honest with you, than more. I'd actually be willing to put Jaden on the ticket for less, but again, with all of the weapons back, I can't definitively say that he won't toss 2 touchdown passes in this game. I doubt that he does, but I can't definitively say that, right? Let's see. All right. Here's a good one. There's a couple of good ones for Jaden. I feel like I want to put a Jaden. I want to put a Jaden pick on the ticket. So they've got Jaden for 19.5 completions in this game. So 20 if you're looking for more. If you're looking for less, he has to have less than 19 completions, or 19 completions or less. He's only eclipsed 19 completions in 1 game this season, and that was the week 2 game against Green Bay. So once again, he's hit 19 on 2 different occasions. That's an interesting number. And keep in mind, if this offense is effective, if they're converting 3rd downs, he should eclipse 20 completions. But you can't be assured of that, right? And you don't know if this defense is going to get stops to give the ball back to the offense, et cetera, et cetera. I actually like the completions one. I think he's going to have more than 19 completions in this game. And then rush attempts, they've got him basically at 8, 7.5. I don't think he's running the football 8 times in this game. Not all for the injury, not with all of the, take care of yourself, Jaden conversations. He's going to have on an elbow brace as a reminder. He's going to run. I'm not telling you he's going to stand in the pocket, but similar to Jackson Dart, even though he was a dum-dum on the first run that he had, tiptoeing the sidelines and taking a massive shot, There weren't any design runs for Jackson Dart. I don't think they're going to be any design runs for Jaden Daniels in this game. 8 feels a bit much. I really, truly believe Jaden's going to run it maybe 4 or 5 times max. There's no way he's running it 8 times in this game. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on that? He's not. There's no way he's running 8 times in this game. Yes, I see yes a couple of times. Okay. Unscripted runs, right? They're because he's not. They're not going to. I don't see them calling a bunch of design keepers. Those runs will be Jaden in the pocket. Things break down. He doesn't like what he sees, etc. These won't be, design quarterback keeps. I don't. I could be wrong, and they could call a designed run early in the game because we see this with Jaden a lot. When he gets injured, he comes back in one of the first runs or one of the first plays in the game is a designed Jaden run just to let the defense know that he is a threat to run the football. They love to do that. I'll put it to you this way. If designed runs are in the game plan, then he could eclipse 8 runs. If designed runs are not in the game plan, which we can't be assured of, then he's not getting to 8 runs. So I think we should go with the completions, even though I don't think he's going to run it 8 times in this game. Because we don't know if they're going to have design runs in there or not. What says you? We're going to pick one of these two. Then we're going to get out of here. So I'm leaving it up to you, putting the ball in your court. We're either going Jaden Daniels completions. You tell me more or less. 19 and a half. So he's either going to have more than 20 completions or more. Yeah, well, 20 or more completions, or he's going to have 19 or less completions in this game, or he's going to have 8 runs or more, or 8 runs or less. So 7 or less. What says you? So, Mike, it isn't designed runs that you have to worry about. Like, he can take off and run himself 5 times. It's the added in 3 designed runs that'll get you to 8. Like, I expect him to still run 4 or 5 times on his own. Based off of dropping back, there's pressure, etc. They're not going to have a bunch of design runs. So we can either go with the less on the runs, or we can go more or less on the pass completions. Mike Lowry says 2 design runs. Yeah. I think they're going to limit the design runs. I don't think he's going to run it a ton in this game. I think they're going to try to get it out of his hands quickly. Yeah, let's go less than on the rush attempts. I think I like that too. Chris says under on the rush attempts. I think a lot of you feel that way as well. I've seen it in the comment section. Let's do less on the rush attempts. So, okay. So now we've got our ticket. And I'm going to pull the ticket up for you guys. I should be able to do that because even if it freezes, it doesn't matter. Even if it freezes, we've got our ticket in place. Okay. So let me see if I can get this thing pulled up real quick. All right. All right. All right. Oh man. So okay. So we got a decision to make. They upped the Chris Rodriguez rush yards from 38 to 41 and a half. So we took so goddamn long making these picks because we were so indecisive. It gave them time to go up on the number. I was way more comfortable at 38. I still think he's going to run for more than 42 yards, but I was definitely sure he was going to run for more than 40. Now they got it at 42. They playing in our face now. Like, oh shit, y'all going to try to take Chris Rodriguez at 39? Nah, let me push it up to 42. Now shit gets really dicey because last week he had 41 yards rushing. See, before he had 39. The number was at 38 and a half. He was getting that. So they playing with us now. I still think he's gonna run for 42 yards. I'm not spooked. I'm just telling y'all that they playing with us now. That's all. I'm just telling y'all they out here playing games. That's all I'm trying to convey to y'all. All right. We had the kicker. We had Hawkinson. We had Ertz for the yards, right? Because it just deleted it. Ertz for the yard. Y'all rather go Ertz yards or Ertz catches? 4 catches for Ertz or 40 yards receiving for Ertz? Yeah, I think catches is safer. I agree. Let's change that to the catches. I'm pretty sure he can do the yards, but I just feel more comfortable with the catches for Ertz than the yards. All right. We had field goal kicks, field goals made for Will Reichert, and then we had Jaden Daniels rush attempts less. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. Hey, how about that? The team just put out their posts for their Saturday moves, and I called it yesterday. They activated Noah Brown from the injured reserve list, and they released wide receiver Chris Moore. Celebrate! We did it, y'all. We did it. we hung in there. We got through it. He'll be back on the practice squad, right? Like we didn't fully rid ourselves of Chris Moore, but we did it. A victory. One step for us as fans, a huge step for mankind. We got rid of Chris Moore. He's not going to be now. They could easily bring him back onto the practice squad and activate him on Sunday, but with Noah Brown being active, with you already having 5 receivers, I think you're gonna have Debo, you're gonna have Terry, you're gonna have Noah, you're gonna have Traylon, you're gonna have Jalen Lane. I don't know if you need a 6th receiver or not. Maybe they feel like they still need a 6th receiver there for special teams purposes. I don't know if they're gonna do that or not, but hey, we got rid of Chris Moore. Got to take the small victories as they come, DT. You're absolutely right. So, all right, let's finish doing what we were doing before they jack up something else on us. All right, so all right. So, Let's do this again. See if we can get this right. I'm going to put this on the screen real quick, and then I'm going to tell you what you guys can do. You say that, DT, but Grant Calcaterra was the reason that you guys beat us last year in that first game on Thursday night by recovering that fumble. At least Grant Calcaterra serves a purpose, or at least he served with a D a purpose. Our guy has been dead weight basically his entire tenure. He did have the one catch against the the Giants in week 1. And then he did have the catch for the touchdown against the Bears. He actually played solidly against the Bears, but we still lost that game. Anyway, I digress. All right, let's see if we can get this up on the screen. Come on. Come on. So I'm going to show y'all. All right, here we go. Even if it freezes again, we should be good now. All right. Even if it freezes, we should be good. All right. So this right here is the ticket. All right. This is the ticket that you see in front of you. This was a struggle today because for whatever reason, we're not getting cooperation from the Sleeper app and my device. When I go to connect to it, it's just acting really funky today. But we made it to the finish line, everyone. So here we are. We've got the picks. You see them in front of you. All right. So Ertz, more than 3.5 catches. We've got Ertz for 4 catches. We've got C-Rod for 42 yards. They jerked us on that. We should have got in earlier. We would have had him at 38.5. I'd be a lot more comfortable and confident with 38.5 yards, but he still should get 42. But he had 41 last week. I could see that happening again this week. And if that happens, we'll all be sick to our stomachs. Jaden Daniels, 7.5 rush attempts. We've got the under on that. I don't think any of us expect him to be out there running around like he normally does. This feels like a 4 or 5 carry game for Jaden, not an 8 or 9 carry game like it normally is. Will Reichert, 2 made field goals for the Minnesota Vikings. That's a stagnant Vikings offense. I expect them to attempt at least 2 field goals. If he makes both of them, we'll hit. He may only get 2 attempts. If he misses one of them, we probably are screwed. All right. I felt more confident with the TJ Hawkinson catches, but you guys felt more confident with the Will Reichert field goal, so we went with that. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tail this ticket, all right, by simply going over to the Sleeper app, putting in these exact picks that you see. I wagered 10. You can wager as much as you want. I put down $10 on it. We can win $67. You want to put down a little bit more? I was tempted to put it up to $13. I said, nah, gonna keep it at 10. And here's what you do. You can enter the giveaway. Trail the community slip on Sleeper, which is what I just showed you. Okay, that's the community slip right there. So trail that ticket. Go over to Sleeper, input those picks as you see them on the screen. All right. Then you're going to email a screenshot of your picks, these picks right here, right? Showing that you entered them in, that you put in a ticket with the picks that we did today on the show. And you're going to email them to this email address right here, hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. Okay. Once again, you're going to take these picks here. You're going to input them in the Sleeper app. You're going to make a wager. $10, $20, $30, however confident you are in the picks should determine how much you decide to put down. You're then going to email a screenshot of these picks that you made, and then you're going to email them to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. The winner will get $100 because you will enter yourself into a sweepstakes to win $100. And if there's only 3 of you that do it, you have a 33% chance to win $100 on the Sleeper app. Okay? If you're the only one to do it, you win $100 if those picks should hit. So, hey, $10 could get you $100 on the app. Hey, how about that? Hey, it could get you $167. That's a $67 bet there. Plus the $100 you could get. Look, go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money, as I always tell you. So once again, one final time. Those are the picks. Ertz, 4 catches. Rodriguez, 42 yards. Daniels, less than 8 rush attempts. Will Reichert, 2 made field goals. Those are the picks. You screenshot your picks that you trailed on the Sleeper app, and you email them to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. There will be a winner that gets $100 for trailing the pick, the picks, the ticket on Sleeper that we did today. And that's a pretty damn good deal, if I may say so myself. All right. Anyhow, that is the skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
All right. So can we finally, the Commanders are looking to break a streak. Can we break the losing streak here on the skill game? I think we might be able to do it. The one thing I'm worried about is Will Reichert's 2 field goals. If he makes the 2 field goals, I think we're in the clear. I think we're going to get us a win tonight or tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Either way, I thank you guys for helping me put that ticket together. And I look forward to you guys putting your picks into the Sleeper app and trailing that pick and getting yourself an opportunity to win $100 on the Sleeper app. Until next time, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. We've gotten rid of Chris Moore. Celebrate! Now let's go get rid of this losing streak, both with the Commanders and here on the skill game. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Peace.